Hi, welcome to another game of TFT Hyper Roll, where I show you some builds that I'm doing right now in the hopes maybe you can work them and help yourself climb. This one started off a little, unsure. I guess a lot of them do. I saw a chance to get an immediate 2-star silver vein. And in these early rounds, getting a 2-star anything is usually a good idea. But then it handed me 2 Abominations right out of the gate, and it's the 2 higher ones in that it's Nunu and Brand, so it's not the ones you're going to pick up immediately. When I see a chance to grab a Gragas, Silver Gragas, I went with that, put out the Nunu so that I could trigger the Brawler buff, and then threw the Hurricane onto Vayne, just because for what I'm now thinking of doing, the Hurricane is an absolutely necessary item. I was hoping that having 2 stars out early would give me a really good chance to not lose early, especially with some brawlers up front. However, this team of Sentinels right here had a completely different idea of something in mind and decided to just knock me right down. Now at this point I am looking for Callista, because she is going to complete what I want to do this game and what I want to show with this video. Although that wasn't necessarily my plan when I started recording, it became my plan the moment I saw that I had a Nunu and a Brand to work with. Usually it's fairly easy to pick up a Callista. This one was a little bit harder as I didn't get it till here. However, once I have the chance to put her in, I'm going to do so, which is going to be right now. Take out the Brand, add in the Callista, and I'm now going to put 2 key items for my monstrosity, which number 1 is Runan's Hurricane, because you want that thing to hit multiple targets. Number 2 is Bloodthirster, and I know, look, Bloodthirster looks ridiculous on Brand. It makes no sense. Keep in mind, you're really not playing for Brand to be your carry here. You're playing for that giant scion that leaps out of the grave to be the thing that's going to do all the damage. And while early on it's not going to appear till late, so it just comes out, takes a swack, and knocks things out, ultimately you want to have a Hurricane on it because you want it attacking more things at once. You want another damage item. I personally like having the Bloodthirster because the Bloodthirster will allow it to heal a little bit even when it's not doing its ult. The other option, of course, is an IE, so that it'll be doing more damage when it's actually attacking. So ultimately, your goal for the monstrosity is really 2 damage items, one of which is the Hurricane, then an IE, Bloodthirster, and then a defensive item. I did not get exactly the items I was looking for. I was hoping for a Radiant Warmogs or something like that, but I got the enhanced ZZ Rot, so I guess I'm going to test this one out and see actually what it does. And I'm pleasantly surprised as it sends out a giant ZZ Rot that is going to absorb a huge amount of damage while the rest of my team is up. Now, it does such a good job that it barely gets a chance for the monstrosity to come out and just basically comes out and taunts the other person as they go down. And also, I noticed that it spawns a second void spawn when the monstrosity appears, putting 2 of them on the board. Chance to pick up the Fiddlesticks is just a no-brainer. That makes my 4th Abomination and will make the monstrosity even stronger. Then luck. It's always luck that comes in here. First off, I'm picking up the BF sword because I'm going to want to put a Hex Tech on Fiddle. But I get a chance of emblems, and the only way you have to get an Abomination emblem in this thing is this way. There is no way to combine a spatula to make one. So I grab the Abomination emblem, put it on Gragas, and just like that, I have 5 Abominations. And that in and of itself is an Abomination. But if you also have it itemized properly, then it is going to do a ton of damage when it comes out, and it will come out earlier and earlier as the game goes on because it comes out whenever 3 people are down, and you will see how much damage it does as a platinum when it comes out, because this is beyond the 3-star. We're into the 4-star territory for what this is. Here I grabbed the Giant's Belt because since Fiddlesticks is doing an AoE attack, I decided to put the Morellonomicon on him, because why not have an additional burn along with the attack? The game basically hands me a 2-star Nautilus, so I figure why not, let's tank up the front line even a little bit more. It just saves a little bit of time, will make the monstrosity come out a tiny bit later, and then have less of a chance of it going down. Once I have the Nautilus out, I might as well take advantage of the Galio and trigger the night buff, put Galio out there, but also what I want to do is put a Titan's Resolve onto Nunu, because that is one of the best defensive items for the monstrosity. So the monstrosity is going to randomly get one of the items off of Nunu. It could be the Titan's Resolve, or it could be the Void Spawn. Either one are going to be pretty good, and then it's going to get the Runan's Hurricane from Callista and the Bloodthirster from Brand. And that's really all I'm looking for. Here you see the Titan's Resolve and just how powerful it is. And I'm racing you through these couple of battles because it's almost a little bit sad to watch just how strong this is at this point. I have very little doubt in my mind that this is going to get nerfed within the next week. Maybe even sooner. They might hotfix it because it feels just a little bit too strong for the game right now. I've 2-starred Azira and put her out just to get the additional Spellweaver buff, throw a Hex Tech onto her so that she's stronger. But really, let's be honest, this is all about the monstrosity. And as I am now one Nunu away from a gold Nunu, it's about that too. I end up taking out the Nautilus simply because Gwen, A, is a stronger unit, and 2, she will give the Mystic buff. So I like the Mystic buff a little bit better than the Night buff, especially in this circumstance where I'm not unhappy if a few units go down. I'd rather have the team less susceptible to magic damage, as a lot of the really strong units are going to do their ultimate attacks with magic damage. For example, Lucian's ult scales off his attack damage, but the result is magic damage to the recipient, so Mystic works.
The world will end in zombies.
And yes, with this giant overpowered bit of zombie flesh running around the screen, I think the world does end with zombies right now. Given the opportunity for a gold Nunu is just a no-brainer, why not make this even more insulting to everyone I'm playing against? Just showing that, yeah, it doesn't matter what you do, it's going to get destroyed. With all of these specific buffs, and especially with the 5 Abomination, you can just see that once it is out and loose, it just tears things apart, going from place to place, hitting it, not caring, and gaining back its strength from the Bloodthirster and its own ult whenever necessary. Now look, if you decide to create this Frankenstein's monster in your own game, and as you can see somebody asking why is Abomination so OP, and I have to respond, I don't even know, it's just dumb, because it really feels dumb in the game at this point, that it was just a little bit too easy, and you know, they're gonna tell me that Riot's on something and they're not gonna lie, and I don't disagree with them, but let me say this, that if you decide to play this while it is still this nonsensically OP, and I think maybe you've got a week left to do it from whenever this video goes up, it might stay that way. But it's important to realize that 3 items are going to be placed on the monstrosity, and it is based on who is closest to the grave. So you want to make sure that the characters you have close to the grave have items you want on them, and you don't stack items on them. For example, if I were to put 2 or 3 things on Callista, then I wouldn't be sure what it was going to go onto the monstrosity. I needed to make sure there was going to be a hurricane. So Callista only gets a hurricane to go on. I needed to make sure there was going to be a Bloodthirster, so Brand only gets a Bloodthirster, and I put 2 damage reduction items on Nunu to make sure that at least one of them would go on, and overall that would all carry me to victory. I hope this helps and you have fun climbing using this while it lasts, and Don't take too much grief from people because they are going to give it to you for using it, but it's fun, and I hope you have an absolutely awesome day.